Cool.
All right, welcome Geek News Reviews Agent Carter, Season 1. This is Max Andrews with Philip Ford, and we're going to kind of go over our opinions of Season 1. Just in case you aren't aware, Agent Carter was 8 episodes. It went into the backstory of Peggy Carter after the events of Captain America, the first Avenger movie, and kind of to fill in the gaps of what happened with the SSR on its way to becoming becoming Shield, not Agents of Shield, the show. But I guess we can start from there. Do you want to go first, Max? Or?
Sure. The things I liked that they actually did this for one. They took the break on Agents of Shield, and then they kind of gave you this little mini series so you could have something to watch while you're waiting on Shield to come back. But I thought overall it was mediocre, but for a period TV show, it wasn't that bad. The last few episodes I thought were the strongest, with the exception of the final episode, which was a little weaker than the ones preceding it. But I'd say the last 3 to 4 episodes were really good, and I liked what they did. I liked all the tie-ins. They wrapped everything up in a nice, neat little bow for you. And it was good. It was a little disappointing. I'm gonna say the last episode. You think that there's this whole giant conspiracy. I mean, we were just talking about it, and yeah, it's just a couple people. But I thought I thought the characters were really good, and they made good villains. I thought.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, Max. The villains were just the character development overall with all the characters. Like initially, you thought it was going to be stilted with the first 2 episodes, but then as they proceeded through 3 and 4, and especially 5 was when they started to really dive into all the characters and not just show the sexism. They actually showed that that Thomas is what I can't remember his full name, but basically Thomas ended up having a moment where he froze in the middle of a battle, and Peggy Carter, had to actually save him. And that was actually an interesting moment because it gave him a sign of weakness, and it allowed her to not be necessarily cheesily empowered, but to be like a real situation. Mm-hmm. And I thought I really appreciated that on their part. Overall, I kind of agree with Max. I mean, the first 2 episodes were they were enough just to get it started. And then after that, episode 3 and 4, they kind of build you up, give you a little bit of information. They actually create some stakes. You're like, okay, all right, maybe I can respect this. And then 5, 6, and 7 is where they get to the meat. And they start giving you some really interesting things start building the Leviathan, start to...
1 second. No. Out. Sorry, dog.
All good, man, all good. And they start to build Leviathan up, and they start to hint at the Dr. Ivichenko, I believe is his name.
Yes.
And then they start to reveal like Dottie and potentially, I guess what is rumored as the precursor, or I'm not 100% sure. I don't think they said this in the show, but when I read up a little bit about it, as the precursor to the Black Widow program of what they were doing, which was somewhat interesting after I'd read that piece. I kind of wish they'd mentioned it in the show. A little bit.
Yeah, that would have been a lot better. I mean, because when they let her escape, at the end there's just the pool of blood and she's gone. I was like, okay, well, but with my comic book knowledge, I didn't know what character that was. So that's the forerunner to a Black Widow program makes a lot of sense, and I like that a lot. But yeah, they don't let you have any inkling as to what they're doing there.
No, not at all, Max. I mean, I was surprised about that when I read about it. I was like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense now as to why they're so focused on women and they're so they're focused on the brainwashing. I'm like, it kind of ties it in, but I guess they didn't want to tie too much. But I mean, to me, they've done it in other Marvel movies where they just throw it out to the people who know, and if you don't know, you just go, okay, well, whatever. It's something called a Black Widow program.
I don't like if they call it the Black Widow program. I'm not a fan of that because that kind of takes. Well, I mean, it takes away from Natalia Romanoff's, badassery.
Okay.
She's the Black Widow. She's like so good. They gave her a code name. You know what I'm saying? Like, So I mean, if it's some super secret mind wash program and it spawns the Black Widow, that's one thing. But no, that's a cool idea. I really wish they would have told me versus my finding out later. Because if you're watching in the show and they're like oh, this is Agent or whatever, she's part of our Russian super spy brainwashing program, you're like, holy crap, that's the precursor to Black Widow. Yeah, so they kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly they do a lot of good stuff, and they finally got better at it, and that's kind of what I was leading up to, is that they give you a lot of cool stuff, and then the last episode just is like, crap, we don't have any more episodes to finish this. Let's tie it all up and finish it really quickly. And that was my biggest issue, I would say, with the show overall, was just the Leviathan, the conspiracy theory that they set up to get you believing. I mean, initially I was like, whatever, and then as it went on, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. What is this? What's involved in all of this? And it was two people.
Yeah, and that's kind of crappy too, just because so they were the people typing all those messages to those guys, and they're the people doing all of this stuff, and it seems like it would just take more logistically. So that's again another little ball drop there, but whatever. It's comic. It's a TV about comic books, so we can't really. Maybe they are that good, But I mean, yeah, I liked at the end when she kind of summed up the woman's power thing. She's like, I know my value if nobody else does, and I was like, well, that's what I want to see. I mean, and I thought she did a pretty good job of portraying that throughout the whole thing. But again, they were really trying to put her in the women's power kind of thing, so they're kind of cramming it down your throats. But I thought it was all summed up really well in that statement. She's like, I don't care what you think. Like, that's not important. The job needs to get done, and I'm the one that can do it. And so I like that, and I like the recently the strong female character has kind of come under fire into the public eye at the fact that she's not there. So with Marvel presenting Agent Carter as as one of their strong female characters, I thought they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, 100% agree with you, Max. Yeah, overall, I would definitely say that character development and everything is what makes this show interesting enough. They have enough stories. The villains are one of the more interesting, I would say, probably, of the Marvel Universe. I mean, Loki's probably the best, of course. But overall, I would say I'd give this a 7 out of 10. It's definitely worth a watch, and maybe if they get a second season, they can add some details and skip it down a few years, so that way we're not still dealing with her trying to get over all this sexism. We can actually get to her being empowered and actually having a position of authority.
Yeah, of course, there's going to be one guy there who's like, I'm taking orders from a woman, baby. But, yeah.
If it's one, that's okay.
But, yeah, no, I thought it was good. It was this is the first time anyone's done anything like this, too. You have to consider that. And, again, Marvel, they're out there just blazing trails, trying to do things different. So, yeah, I liked it. I thought it was, yeah, I agree with you, 7 out of 10.
Awesome. So I think that's it. Do you have any more opinions, Max?
I've got opinions all day.
Well,
but nothing about
Agent Carter. let me funnel you.
No, that's all I got. I liked it. I really liked it. I didn't, at the end of it, I didn't hate Howard Stark. I didn't hate Jarvis. I didn't hate Carter. And then you see her little post-cap love interest and yada yada yada. So it's all there, and it was put together decently well. I mean, yeah, of course, it's not perfect, but what is? And yeah, I thought this was good.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, and then the one thing to mention that I guess it's like a after credit scene essentially, where Dr. Zola ends up meeting Dr. Ivachenko and starting to hint at I don't know what, but maybe
that was the beginnings of like when he was in the computer in Captain America, he was talking about all the psychological and the programs and stuff that they did. This is the beginning of the Hydra Shield takeover, the very first. This is the meeting of the minds, and he's going to learn, a lot about the psychology of how to do what they want to do.
Okay, interesting. Well, that didn't. Yeah, that would actually be really interesting for them to kind of explore that then, because that would be more intriguing to know of how many people were actually voluntarily Hydra agents and how many people actually were unwitting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all good stuff. I thought, yeah, I liked it. I really liked that little scene, and that's the other thing that kind of made it for me. I was like, okay, now they're connecting dots. Like it's, and I was upset that she poured out the super soldier serum. I was like, why would you do that? Why would you ever do that? that was the dumbest thing for me. I thought that was like a weak moment.
So I agree with you. That was cheesy. I mean, not to mention, it's his blood. What is that blood going to do in the river?
Yeah. What about the fish? You're gonna have the super fish crawling out of the river, just beating ass all over the place.
Oh man.
The first Avenger is actually a fish.
There you go.
or is that Namor? Maybe this created Namor.
There you go. We just figured it out. We tied them all together. It's going to be in the second season of Agent Carter.
Yep.
Namor the Submariner. All right. So I think this wraps it up. But if you all would please comment, please let us know, like and share. If there's anything you'd like us to review in particular, or if there's any improvements you'd like us to make, please let us know. As well as visit us on iTunes. We actually have our webpage up now at 3geeks.ninja. We soon will be rebranding our YouTube page to be 3 Geeks Network to tie in with that. Thank you and have a good night.
See ya.